Hi there, Lori Ehlke here. So I went on a trip with some of my artist friends, and this was in last November. And of course, we got this cute little Airbnb, and we just sat at the table and painted like all day long. It was super fun. And one of our little adventures was to go to a really nice art store near Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so I wanted to pick up something fun for my kids when I got back home. And my kids are really into rock collecting. So I got some green crystals, and I got some geodes and all kinds of fun stuff. And I'm like, you know, I have never painted a crystal before. Let's see how it works. So today I did a video on painting a crystal. I thought it would be a fun challenge to try, and I actually really liked it, and I think I will be doing a lot more of them. So the paper I used for this is actually a brand new paper to me too. I have never used this paper before. I bought this at the art store as well. It's called fluid watercolor paper. It's cold pressed, 140 pounds. And it's a block, meaning the pages are stuck together. And so I just left it right in the pad and made these super cool crystal paintings. So this is a really fun one because it can look like whatever you want it to, and you can really play with the paint in each of the little sections. So have fun with this one, and I can't wait to see what colors you choose for your crystals, and hopefully they'll look super cool. I can't wait to play around with this one a lot more and see what other fun things I can make. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe below.
I'm going to start my painting by using a Simply Simon's brush. It's a size 6, and I'm using it because it has a nice point to the end. And I'm starting off with a pink. It's called Opera Rose, and I'm going to make just a shape kind of in the middle of where my crystal will be. It's very important that when you make your shape, all of the lines are very straight. You could use a flat brush if that works better for you, but I'm going to try to stick with this one. While my shape is still wet, I'm going to drop in a little bit of color. So I'm adding a little bit of purple to this one, and I think I'm going to stay with that. Next, I'm going to add another shape, and I can pick any of the lines of my previous one and just kind of build off of that. So I'm adding a triangle above my last one, and again, filling it in with water or some more pink, and then while it's wet, dropping in some purple. Now I'm going to add another shape, and this one's actually going to connect to both of my previous ones. You can see I'm leaving a little bit of white in between each of my shapes. I'm being very careful to get super close but not quite touching them. And then I'm adding a little bit of extra purple on this one because I want this one to be a little bit darker. I'm even jumping in and adding a little bit of Prussian blue because it really blends well with the pink and the purple. The shape I'm adding now I want to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going in and starting it the same way with my pink, and then I'm just adding clear water and making sure to blend that in. And I'm just going to leave it like that and not add any extra color to it because I want it to stay pretty light. I'm going to continue these steps, just building one shape over another shape, always leaving the white lines in between, and then adding in a little bit of color while the shapes are still wet. I'm trying to consciously think about which shapes I want to be a little bit lighter, which ones I want to be a little bit darker. Try to pick maybe one or two shapes to be pretty light, and then some medium, and then some a little bit darker. It also helps to use colors that work well together, so the pink and the purple and the blue all complement each other really well. They're next to each other on the color wheel, so they blend well together. While that's wet, I'm going to add a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a couple more crystals and do it in the exact same way that I did my first one, just with different colors, and change up the shapes a little bit. So I have started with this green one, and I'm adding in a little bit of that Prussian blue to the green as well, just because it's so nice and vibrant. The green I'm using is like a light green. I think it's called like a permanent green light. And it works really well just to give some variety in the color. So again, I'm leaving the little white spaces in between each of my shapes. I'm starting by filling them in with the light green, and then as they're still wet, I will drop in a little bit of the blue to give it some interest. I'm being careful when I drop in the colors that I don't try to brush them too much. I want to just kind of drop it in with my brush and then let it sit and not try to over brush it, because then it'll blend in too much. So it's kind of nice to have little random puddles of paint inside of each of these shapes. It creates a cooler effect when it's done. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch to another color and use shades of blue. So I'm using cerulean blue for the light blue, and then sticking with that Prussian blue for the dark. So I've used Prussian blue for all three shapes just to kind of darken some of the edges and to add some interest. It has worked for all three colors, the pink, the green, and of course the blue. So I'm going with it. Again, leaving the white lines in between each of my shapes and then dropping in the color while they're wet. So very therapeutic exercise. I really enjoyed this. It was very relaxing. I could see just doing this if I'm between paintings, or if I just need a little break and want to do something fun, playing around with different shapes. It was really relaxing, and it's fun to see the colors kind of mixed together on their own. For this shape, I'm trying to pick a couple shapes to be darker, and then I'm going to leave a couple of them lighter so that there's a little bit of a highlight on this one. So as you can see, kind of all of my lighter ones are towards the upper middle. It kind of gives the crystals a focal point, having a lighter shape. And I'm just kind of going back and touching up while they're still wet, adding a little bit more color in certain spots. I'm also doing that on my other ones. I just wanted to pick a couple spots to really punch the color. So now that the pink one's dry, I just kind of went back and pushed some of the bright pink again, and then the same thing with the green. I wanted a little bit more contrast, a little bit more depth and value, so I am adding a little bit more color to those, just to kind of push the colors a little bit more. So much for watching, and please like and subscribe below if you're enjoying my art tutorials. Have an awesome day and have fun painting.